You guys are actual healthcare professionals. I'm here with Hadasa Bellat. She is a dedicated midwife and reproductive justice advocate with extensive experience in home births and birth center care.
And I saw that people started losing their autonomy and their choices. Then I wanted to be a part of the positive change. So it's a family-centered environment. We promote that, getting to know you, and it's holistic here. It's you as a whole person.
I think a lot of people don't realize midwives.
I think decreased fetal movement. It's such a big deal. Do not pass go, do not collect, just go.
Just go. And I love that you said go to L&D, not the ER.
Maternal intuition.
Huge.
I mean, sometimes words cannot even explain, but that gut feeling, I'm not going to ignore it. What is that?
There's so much noise surrounding pregnancy and birth, but we don't talk enough about the red flags. Pregnancy does not fail women, systems do. And today we're going to get right into it. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Woman Word Podcast. This is a community and a space for newly pregnant and postpartum women where we empower them through real stories, faith, and expert guidance. So today I'm here with someone special. I'm here with Hadasa Bellat. She is a dedicated midwife and reproductive justice advocate with extensive experience in home births and birth center care. And she's also Dominican. Hi.
Hey,
Like
me.
Hey. So, Das, can I just say, honestly, I remember years ago when you called me and you were like, oh, Kim, I think this is it. Like midwifery, this is what, I have to do. But you started listing every reason why you should not pursue midwifery at that time. Every reason.
Yeah.
And now you're a whole midwife, doing this for years. You're one of the top midwives in the DMV community. And I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I am. So we can get right into it. What brought you into midwifery?
Thank you for asking that question, and thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I never knew I'd be here, but when I was younger, I thought I was going to be an OB. And as time went on, I let my fears sink in. I thought I wasn't going to be smart enough to do the mathematical stuff, to go into medical school. And then as time went on, I was like, I'm scared of blood. I don't want to have anything to do with blood and wiping people's butts. But when I decided to become a birth worker, and I was a doula in a hospital setting, especially in COVID, and I saw that people started losing their autonomy and their choices. And then I learned that midwives were a better option for low-risk birthing experiences. Then I wanted to be a part of the positive change. So I put my fears aside and pursued midwifery.
Yeah, you're killing it. I remember when we first met, it was like, oh, hey girl, I'm also from Dominica and I'm a doula. What's up? And we kind of just connected. But I think right now there is, somewhat of a clear attack on midwives and out of hospital births, people exploring their options and so forth. What are the key differences you can tell us between home or birth center births and a hospital birth? And how do midwives sort of assess that care?
Yeah. So I think what stands out the most is that when somebody is seeking care with a home birth practice or birth center practice, it's individualized care. So we get to know you as a person. I know your kids. I know the names of your pets. Like, it's a family-centered environment. We promote that. Whereas from what I've experienced, because I gave birth in a hospital, and from what I hear over and over again, in a hospital setting, it's really like provider-centered. They're avoiding litigation. They're thinking about liability at all time. So people tend to feel like they have these short visits that are maybe 7 to 15 minutes because of insurance. Whereas midwives who provide community care, they have a little bit more flexibility. Like, I don't accept insurance, so I'm going to kick it in your house for about an hour and change, and we're eating together, and I'm getting to know you, and it's holistic here. It's you as a whole person. It's not just your vitals. It's not just your ultrasounds. It's not just fetal heart tones. It's like, is your job stressing you? What are these contributing factors that are going to potentially impact your pregnancy, your birth, and your postpartum and your family? How can we make sure that they're impacting you in a positive way and not negatively? What can we do to mitigate it? And I think hospital-based providers are great, but they don't have capacity to dig deep like that. So I think that's what stands out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize midwives, you guys are actual healthcare professionals. Like, you're providers, you do obstetrics, you do well women's visits and so forth. And I personally know people who go to midwives for their annuals yearly because they're like, I'm just not dealing with it anymore, you know? So what is the number one red flag, pregnant women ignore? In your experience from what you've seen, because they either think, it's normal or they don't want to seem difficult, which is very, very common, especially in our practice, in my practice as a doula, I see all the time.
I think decreased fetal movement. It's such a big deal. Our society as a whole, we're just moving and grooving and we just doing our thing all the time. And what I love is like March of Dimes and Count the Kicks. There's so many initiatives that are promoting everybody stopping, counting the baby's movements, not just hiccups, but you want to get 10 movements in under 2 hours. And you're going to start doing that at the beginning of the 3rd trimester. Every day, you want to get to know your baby's patterns. So we encourage people to do that because if you're doing it earlier in the day and we get to make an intervention, if I need to say, even as a community-based provider, if somebody is telling me they have decreased fetal movement, go in.
Yeah.
Let's not wait. And it could make a difference. There are reasonable circumstances to pursue like an induction or even a surgical birth. So paying attention to decreased fetal movement is important. It's not an overreaction. It's very, very, very important. So I think people really brush that off.
Yeah. So what should a mom do, though, or just someone who's pregnant, if they do see or feel like something's wrong? What's like their power move if they feel like, they were brushed off and so forth? How can they maybe advocate for themselves in that moment?
Yeah. I think they should call their provider immediately.
Yeah.
Now, in the unfortunate circumstance where a provider's not listening, hopefully they have a doula or birth companion or their partner, their support system has been attending their prenatal care with them and they understand what's normal and what's not so they can help support them because it's a lot to go on and to take on by yourself when you're in this really vulnerable state.
Yeah.
So I would advise somebody to reach out to their provider if they hit a roadblock. Go in to L&D. Go into L&D, not the ER. Go into L&D. Tell them how pregnant you are. Tell them what you're experiencing. Let them monitor you and the baby and make an assessment as to whether or not your baby's doing fine or you need further assessment. But yeah, do not pass go. Do not collect. Just go.
Just go. And I love that you said go to L&D, not the ER.
Oh yeah, the ER has no idea what's happening. They can handle a bullet wound and all of that, but you're pregnant all of a sudden and everybody's freaking out. L&D knows how to handle pregnancy. L&D knows what's normal. L&D is where you need to be.
Yeah. A lot of folks don't know that. They would go to the ER.
Yeah.
And yeah. I love that you said that. I guess what are some subtle red flags the medical system sort of downplays, but you, as a midwife, you don't ignore?
Yeah. Intuition. Big. Maternal intuition.
Huge.
I mean, sometimes words cannot even explain, but that gut feeling, I'm not going to ignore it. What is that? If you are unsure and your feeling and your instinct is saying something is not right, let's get some reassurance. Let's get some answers. Let's not just, brush it off and say, oh, it sounds, that happens to everybody. Let's do some digging. I'd rather the family get reassurance. I'd rather get reassurance than to brush it off. Maternal intuition is a big deal. And that's why it's a part of the brain method. And I love the brain method. And I talk about it like I was talking to a bunch of students. I go talk to these kids annually, and I always promote the brain method, which you know all about, but I want to share with some of our listeners who may not be familiar. It can be applied to life, but we promote it mostly in pregnancy. So the B represents benefits. You're assessing what are the benefits of this decision. What are the risks? That's the R. Then A stands for alternatives, because there are other options. What are they? And then the I is intuition. It does play a part in making an informed decision. And then sometimes there's that N. What if we do nothing right now? How is that going to impact the rest of my journey? So we're not going to ignore that when making an informed decision about your care and your baby and what's going on with you, you got to assess the benefits, the risks, the alternatives, the intuition.
Yes.
And sometimes you do nothing.
Yeah. That intuition. Intuition. How they talk about a woman's intuition, like,
right.
Yeah.
We know.
Same thing applies to pregnancy.
Yep.
Same thing applies to pregnancy. What are some common misconceptions of home births and birth center births that maybe just breaks your heart? I feel like a lot of people feel like home births are just free births. Though.
Yeah.
We're like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I think people just, first of all, I think there's still so many people who don't know that midwives are still out here.
I know.
It's crazy to me. But I enjoy informing people like, yeah, we out here, we're strong. There are more and more coming, especially in the DMV area. That makes me very grateful. I think common perception is that midwives are just so woo-woo that they are just like playing a tambourine and a didgeridoo and just gonna pray the bleeding away. I, like many other people, I am a licensed provider. I'm licensed in the state of Virginia. I'm licensed in the state of Maryland. I can practice in DC. For my credential, I'm a certified professional midwife.
Yeah.
We have licensure in many states, many states. And we do have regulations we have to abide by depending on what state we're licensed in. So that's important. There's a standard of care, And I love when families get to understand that when we're coming to your home, I, as a licensed provider, I'm coming with all of the medications that they'd have available in a hospital setting for a low-risk birth. So if somebody's potentially having a hemorrhage, I am carrying Pitocin because I can with my license. I do have TXA because I can. If somebody needed to be stitched up, I do have lidocaine and things like that. So we're not just coming in with vibes. I did bring the vibes.
Yeah.
But I bring also herbs, tinctures, knowledge, wisdom, my license, compassion, and attentiveness to what the family needs. So we are medical providers.
Thank you. That is what is missing. Midwives are medical providers.
Yeah.
Like you guys are practitioners.
Yeah.
Get some respect on that.
That's right. I sign birth certificates and the whole nine. It's like you. I'm a healthcare provider.
Yes, you are. You are. A lot of people just think you guys just come out of the woodwork and say, oh, I'm going to deliver this baby real quick. Like that's.
Yeah. I mean, good luck to the people who do that.
Yeah.
And that's their choice. I got into this work because as a Black person and knowing the statistics, being originally from New York, I decided to get into birth work because we were 12 times more likely to have poor outcomes as Black women in New York. And I'm just like, if I want to be a part of the solution, that includes not only compassion, but skills and knowledge. And for me, licensure. And that's not everybody's choice, but I thought that would be a good way to make me an asset in the community.
Yeah. And I need to express having a home birth with a medical professional practitioner like a midwife, that is not a free birth. Free birthing is an entirely different thing that's a whole thing that we're not going to get into right now. But I just really need to make that distinction clear because that is a wild misconception that's really going around right now.
Yeah.
Especially on social media.
Yeah. I really wish people understood the extensive training that we have to go through.
Yep.
We have to be prepared. In a hospital setting, it's wonderful that people can press a button and a team runs in to do things. But we have to train regularly for certain things like NRP, because 1 in 10 babies need help breathing. And if you called EMS, they're not even generally trained in that. But as home birth midwives, birth center midwives, and as birth assistants in the community setting, each of us have to be individually trained to use those skills. So we are very skilled. Yeah, we're the button. We got that internal button.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Have you ever had an instance where you had to fight for your client in a room full of maybe other professionals? And, what did that kind of feel like for you?
Of course, I have.
Yeah.
In a hospital setting, not at home. Just saying, at home, we listen. We listen and we don't judge. But in a hospital setting, yeah, there is a mom. I love her dearly. And I remember them wanting to encourage her to be in certain positions. And they were even saying, like, the next step was a cesarean. And she was like, I need more time. And I was like, give her more time. And, she ended up having a vaginal birth. They gave her time. We did position changes. And I also remember very specifically talking to her prenatally about some hospitals using Johnson & Johnson soap as lubrication. And I found out from her that she was definitely allergic to that soap.
Stop it.
Yes. So it was just by chance that we were having that conversation. So at the time when she was on hands and knees getting ready to push, and I'm seeing this provider without consent putting it on a glove and I was like, that would have made a significant difference.
God.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Because unfortunately in those settings, not everyone performs procedures with consent.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I understood her medical history, her choices, her wishes, and I was able to intervene in that instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of folks who are giving birth, they don't understand how powerful consent is and their voice is, and just that no or why, or, like that brain you mentioned, or questioning your provider, even if it's a midwife, even if you can question your provider, you don't work for them. Technically, they work for you.
Absolutely.
Consent is huge. Consent is huge. There are people who are scared to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared. Like, oh, no, that's my doctor. Or, no, my provider or midwife, they said this and that. And so I'm just going to sit tight.
Yeah.
Really, really crazy. Really crazy. So what are 3 things that you would tell a mom, right? Just about, I guess, what she should do during a prenatal appointment, or maybe what she should ask and so forth.
So I think you touched on one of the things that's important.
Yeah.
I want every person to know that they have the right to say no.
Yeah.
And no is a complete sentence.
No is a complete.
And even as a provider, sometimes I ask, not because I want to change their mind. I'm just curious as to why they said no, but you shouldn't feel obligated to explain something to a provider. Yeah, I think no is a complete sentence. That's it. And another thing that I want people to walk into pregnancy and postpartum with the confidence of knowing that their body knows what to do. It's really hard because we're in a social media world and we see all of these images of what has happened to other people.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like take that on as like, oh, that's going to happen to me. I'm going to give birth like this or like this. I'm like, sure, if maybe. But if not, it's okay because your body knows what to do. If you surrender and listen to your body will tell us all what we need to listen to. So I want people to know that their body is wise. That's why in pregnancy, sometimes people have contractions or practice contractions. And that's not because you're in labor, it's because you dehydrated. Your body is telling you to have some water, or maybe you need to have some protein. Your body is telling you something. Listen.
We always tell them after every contraction, take a sip of water.
Right.
Take a sip.
Yeah.
Yep.
So listen to your body. And another thing I want people to know is they deserve providers who listen and explain. If you have a provider who has strong preferences and their preferences are solely based on their experience and not you as a person, that's problematic. And right here, let's have an informed, shared decision-making session. Let's talk about it. So choosing a provider who is willing to tell you the benefits and the risks of the things they're presenting and willing to listen to your concerns is crucial. So if that means going over that 15 minutes, so be it. This is a life-changing experience. You have some say in how this journey can look.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. In your personal practice, is there a birth story that you've just held with you or just close to your heart? I know maybe many, but is there one that's like,
So many. I don't know. There's so many. I think the ones that stand out the most. So there's one I can see in my head. I already know. Shout out to that family because see, going to the 80s dedication coming up.
oh, are you?
Yeah.
But closeness about being birth worker.
Oh my gosh, we went on a double date. Yeah. Like that's why it's different. When people choose me to be a part of their experience, like, yeah, I love going to the coffee shop and seeing former clients. I love being a community midwife. That's like really, really, really cool. So that family in particular, I remember it was a first-time mom. Her mother was there. Her mother was amazing. I was like, girl, you need to be a doula. You're great. Her husband is super supportive. I had gotten to know them throughout their pregnancy. Super cool people. And there was this one time when she was she was struggling right there at the end. And then she just motivated herself and was like, here we go, yo, here we go, yo. So then we all started singing. So what's the scenario? And yeah, she self-motivated herself. She was like, I'm gonna push through this discomfort. The dad ended up catching the baby. That's also one of my favorite things to do. And looking back, they were just so empowered. I just want to be there. I don't have to catch your baby. I just want you to see how strong you are. I want you and your partner, I want you and your support team to know like we did this together. We worked diligently. We asked questions and we got the outcome we were looking for. And I'm grateful because sometimes you work hard and you don't get what you're looking for, but it surely feels amazing when it's an all-Black family and we're rapping together and she's empowered and the dad catches the baby and puts baby on her chest.
Wow. I just love the autonomy that home births or birth center births promotes. That catching the baby real quick, like putting baby on the chest, like hyping them up, that's special. That's special. That's special.
Never gets old.
I know. So to close, what does true respectful care look like? What would you say to maybe the pregnant mom or the person wanting to give birth or get pregnant, what would you say to them about respectful care so that they know that they've actually found it with their provider?
You will feel like you're getting true, unadulterated respectful care when you feel heard and not rushed. I've heard of people in visits with like hospital-based providers, and the provider never sat down because they already know they're about to leave quickly. But imagine you felt like your provider was being present, looking you in the eyes, assessing you, listening, actively listening. That's how you know you're being respected.
Yeah.
That's how you know, Kim, I'm paying attention to you and what's going on, not just chart number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, being present, not being rushed and being heard, I think that's when you found the respectful care you're looking for. And somebody that encourages you to consider your options. That's another thing too. You have options.
Yeah.
It's not cookie cutter.
It's not
Yeah.
it's not a one size fits all. We do have a signature question that we ask after every episode on Woman Word. What's one word that describes the season that you're in right now?
Ooh. I think the first thing that came to my mind was liberation.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like reimagining next steps. I know the kind of midwife I want to be for this next season, which is not going to be for a long, long, long time because I'm always going to reinvent myself.
Yes.
But for this season, I want to pour back into myself so I can give more to the community. I think like I'm a giver, I'm a people pleaser, and I overextend myself. So now I feel free because I have created a little bit more boundaries for myself.
Heavy on the overextend yourself. Girl, you overextend yourself. She's not even gonna call you out like that, but yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, Hadassah, thank you for joining us.
Hey,
And I
pleasure.
will just say, I love how you're very bold about your faith and you incorporate the Lord in your practice. I love that. Could not end without saying that. But thank you so much for being here. And thank you for what you're doing out here, saving lives, bringing these lives in, and making a difference. Appreciate you.
Thank you. And I thank you too. Girl, you know, I see you. We have both come a long way and you're pretty darn dynamic.
Cute. Cute. I appreciate you. We have come a long way. Yeah, we really have. And you can find Hadassah on every social media platform. That's the midwife. And her exact information will be on the show notes, in the show notes, if you'd like to reach out to her directly and find out a little bit more about her practice. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. As usual, like, subscribe, send this to a friend, and we will see you next time.